let's go.
All right, we're on here. Another exciting show of Ship Talkers. I hope so. We just wrapped up our Carrier Summit. Nathan got to come in for this. Nathan Leonard with TForce Freight. But previously, you came from FedEx, right?
Yep.
Where else did the LTL lineage come from?
Yeah, I had a small stint there at Yellow for about 2 years as well.
Seems like everybody has a small stint at Yellow that's been in this industry at least 15 or 20 years.
Yep. Yeah, I had 25 years at FedEx Freight, formerly the old American Freightways.
Yep.
Back in the late 90s when I got started in trucking. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, but exciting and a lot of fun.
So I always got to ask this, right? Because everybody gets into it in different ways. How did you get stuck in this industry? Like, how did you walk in and you're like, I'm in LTL now?
So I was born and raised in a little small town called Harrison, Arkansas, which is where the original American Freightways, Arkansas Freightways, was founded. So, went up through high school and, all the people that made good money worked at American Freightways. So I was working at a grocery store and I was thinking, man, if I could just get a job at American Freightways, right, I'd have it made, I'd be set. So went to school, did just enough college to get the classes I needed.
Yep.
And finally got on at American Freightways and kind of went out, went from there, right? Ended up going back to school, getting my bachelor's and master's degree later in my career. And then obviously, FedEx acquired American Freightways.
Yeah.
And then, 25 years there and then kind of jumped out of the nest and kind of went a different direction.
Did you come in on ops, like just working the dock or?
No, I started off in pricing.
Okay.
Rating freight bills at night. And
that's that college boy you told me about. I did just enough classes to not work on the dock.
That's right. Yeah. I didn't do any dock work, but I've spent all my career in pricing and that's it.
Yeah. See, I was the other way where like my dad was always a truck driver, eventually terminal manager and everything. And I was like, I just need a job, right?
Right.
16, just go work on the dock somewhere part-time and then UPS parcel part-time. And then it was a good paying job like that.
Yep.
So I'd always kind of go to and from. And then I never went from again. I was just there.
Yeah. It just kind of sucks you in. And then once you get in there, like you just learn more and more. And really, you just never stop learning, right? I mean, 27 years in the industry, and I feel like I'm still learning stuff all the time.
Well, it's good that, LTL, it's weird. Like, at a surface level, it hasn't really changed much. But if you really know it, it's changed a lot. You know what I mean? From the outside looking in, it's still relatively the same. But internally, it's way different than it ever used to be, especially with the rapid adoption of technology by carriers. Like you and I, in American Freightways, you were still ripping paper out of the side of the trailer doors. Everything was moving on paper, right? That was the sole choice for everything. Now, trailers roll in the yard, RFID chip, digital manifest to the door, scan and go, dimensionalizers hanging from the ceiling. There's been a huge investment in technology on the carrier side.
Yeah. Even in the pricing world, I mean, just the, all the tools that are available now that weren't available originally. And I remember costing accounts and just running, 15 or 20 different sample shipments to try to figure out a costing. And now you can, run hundreds of thousands of shipments through the system and cost them, in minutes.
Yeah.
So it's great.
That's cool. So now that you're over at TForce Freight, you've been over there, 2 years now?
Yep, just over 2 years.
2 years? Look at that. My memory's holding true. In your time there, you kind of came in solely, was it under pricing? And your role's really evolved. You've taken on more responsibility since you originally came in.
Yeah, so I have pricing and customer experience, which essentially is all the pricing analysts. Then we have the rating, the billing, the marketing team, also the sales operations team. We do a lot of reporting for the company.
Yeah.
Just measuring a lot of different metrics right throughout the organization. But it's a very wide array of different things and some things that I have not been involved with before. But got an opportunity to come in and learn and drive some of those in a little bit of a different direction.
Unpack the customer experience end for me. The pricing side of it, I totally get on that side. How has your role morphed with customer experience, and what are like your focuses there in that role with TForce specifically?
Yeah, so one of the big key items that we are focused on is how do we continue to drive a better customer experience, right? That helps secure that stickiness for your customers to stay with you. But really, it's all about how do we get that first invoice to the customer accurately
Mm-hmm.
without having some sort of correction or issue. Because I tell my team all the time, like, you all have a cell phone, right? Everybody has a cell phone. If you use Verizon or AT&T or whoever, if your bill's wrong, I mean, yeah, the first time you might be like, okay, I'll call in, get it fixed, whatever. But if it's constantly wrong, like, eventually you're going to find someone else, right? You're going to go to another provider, and our customers are no different. They expect to have an invoice that's accurate the first time so that they can pay it and move on. They don't want to deal with the issues, and we don't want to deal with the issues. So that's one of the big things that we're driving internally is how do we get, a better customer experience, get our billing and rating piece as accurate as we can the first time. And that's where we've implemented a new pricing system back in February
Mm-hmm.
called Prism. And in the past we had a lot of old technology that
Yeah.
required manual entry, and we had 25, 30 people manually entering every pricing agreement into the rating system, where now we have this new rating engine that we can upload and auto load pricing into the
Yeah.
system. So takes the manual component out, which improves accuracy,
Mm-hmm.
speed, and how fast we can get the pricing in place. But that's really the big focus for us is how do we continue to drive a better customer experience, getting the bill rated accurately the first time, so that the customers can get their bill, pay it, and move forward.
I love that. I love it. I wish everybody would strive for that. I think it's a lot harder to accomplish that because when you say it out loud, it's just like, yeah, freight, it's easy. It's point A to point B, but it's all the people in between and in every little piece of that life cycle. There's a lot of touches I don't think customers see behind the scenes that,
Right.
that go in and are involved to that. Now, you mentioned Prism, right? Prism's a pretty kick-ass technology, but one thing I do know about Prism, at least working with other carriers that have rolled it out, is you're really like training a model to learn, and you don't get like instant success in day one, right? It's something that you're kind of ramping into to make it specific to you to work the right way.
Yeah, there's a process, right? We have to take everything out of the old world and convert it
Mm-hmm.
into the new world. So it's really hard to do that systematically too. So you have to manually do each account as they come up, or we touch that pricing, right, in order to get it moved into the new system. The beauty of that system though is that once you get it loaded that first time, the next time you have to make a pricing change, you essentially export that pricing agreement out,
Mm-hmm.
make your changes to your discounts, your minimums, accessorials, fuel, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then re-upload it back into the system, and it's just bam, it's just like there. Like you can do it in minutes versus some of these agreements are so tedious and granular.
Yeah.
We would used to spend in some situations 2 and 3 weeks, right, just creating the load and getting it, put into all these old green screen systems.
Yeah.
So now with this new system, we can once we get it in the new world, it's in there, right? It's a lot faster and easier to make updates.
Yeah. And it also sounds like it puts you more in a proactive state instead of reactive, where like it's easier to rationalize pricing, to look at stuff, find opportunities, as opposed to before it was like somebody had to root up, find that opportunity. I isolated it, looked at it, and then did something.
Yeah, and I think too, there's some AI technology that's being developed for this system,
Mm-hmm.
where in the future, right, there's the ability where as we're building the agreement, it will automatically be loading it in the background.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
so that'll help us too. And we've kind of been working with Tim Pauly and his team at
Mhm.
CoForge on some of these additional features that might be coming available in the near future with a lot of the new AI technology. So it's been a great system. We've seen some of our auto rating percentages improve.
Yeah.
We were running in the 85% range. I saw 1 week last month we had hit like 92%. So the less bills that you're having to manually touch and rate,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to improve your accuracy.
And even just
for
your guys'
customer.
overall API uptime and all the stuff Will McClung's worked on over there
Yep.
has been way better than it had. And like, make no mistake about it, you guys have been on a tough road to start. You had the decoupling of technology from the legacy UPS over to TForce. You guys had a lot of change management in that process, moving bodies around, taking new responsibilities. But what was cool, you saw the Mastio Awards come out, and TForce was a riser. So like, while you had to really roll up your sleeves and go through the hard stuff, you guys are gaining momentum and coming out the other side, and it's looking pretty nice.
Yeah, it's been it's not gonna lie, right? It's been a lot of hard work. But yes, I feel like our best days are ahead of us. But just a lot of focus on the customer experience, and doubling down on that aspect is
Yeah.
really important, because these customers, they deserve a quality product, and they're going to find it somewhere in the market if
Yes.
you're not able to give it to them. So operationally, we've been really focusing on making sure we're not missing pickups, right? Improving some of our claims ratios, and by adding some dock handling tools and things like that to improve there. But yeah, we've got, essentially, since I've been there in the last 2 years, we've got a whole new leadership team. We've got multiple new directors in our pricing organization and managers. Operationally, they've made some changes in that area as well. We've got Chris Tracos and Cal Atwall, who are executive sponsors from
Yeah.
TFI, have kind of taken the reins and taken the company in a little bit of a different direction than we were going previously. And, our people are excited. We saw the Mastio results, right? We had I think the highest net promoter score improvement of any of the large LTL carriers.
Yeah.
We
It was
also,
a big riser.
yeah, we also saw the largest improvement in customer respondents, right? That actually took the survey and showed TForce as one of their primary.
Well, that's even cooler that the respondents doubled or quadrupled, but yet you still rose in all categories, right? That tells you that I'm making the same impact at scale across the board with more customers.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's been a lot of work by the team, but our employees are excited, and that's the great thing, right? The culture of the organization is changing, right? Our people are excited again. They feel like, hey, we're on the right path. Good things are happening at TForce Freight. It's helping as people see this, right? And we're hiring talent. People are noticing these things too, and saying,
Yeah.
hey, there's a lot of good things happening at TForce. They want to be a part of it, right? So they're jumping on board. So it's been exciting. Been a fast 2 years.
Yeah.
But a lot of
Like
great
they
things.
say, winning fixes a lot of problems. So
Yeah,
once you
yeah.
start winning and you build that momentum, it's contagious.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Now when I fly out to Richmond and we get to visit you folks in the new office, and for those that don't know, I don't get stuck in the elevator by mistake. It's way better. It's pretty cool, man. And you guys have a lot of good energy, good buzz going around that I see. You got my good buddy Doug Reisberg back in the mix, pushing things along. So it's pretty cool. And I got to spend some time with Tracos too. Hadn't spent a lot of time with him. But he's got a lot of energy. You can tell he's got a lot of passion behind what you guys are doing. And it seems like you've put a really good team together. Like you said, the best days are ahead of us to go ahead and continue to execute on that.
Yeah, Doug is our sales leader, right? And Doug and I mean, we literally are walking hand in hand every single day. And, between Doug and Chris and I, we're kind of heading down the path on the commercial side. And Al and Keith and the operations guys are kind of heading up the other side, trying to ensure we've got all of our stuff in place there. But yeah, I think, Chris has been a great leader. He's brought a lot of good energy, some new changes and ideas. And then Doug and I working together, a lot of organizations, pricing and sales kind of headbutt, right? But I think the tighter your pricing and sales organizations are, from my past history, the better success you have in driving, whether it's growth, yield improvement, whatever you're trying to do. When you're connected at those areas, that's where I think you see the best.
No, I'm with you there, because I think it's so easy for a sales rep to waste an analyst's time, or an analyst to waste a sales rep's time by not giving a good look at the data to actually make a good decision. But it could be because he's overwhelmed, or how they're working together just isn't right. You're just sending over a general thing, and you'll get some peanut butter pricing back, as opposed to saying, hey, I've looked at this. This is the lane I want. I know we need this. Take a look at this, and this density, this lane, this accessorial, this is what I want. And as they start working and winning together, right, their comp plans are often tied to each other with regards to revenue growth and OR. And that's where I think more people need to get to, is to where your analyst and your sales rep are hand in hand together. They're not always going to agree, but you're making the right decision.
Yeah. Oh, there's sometimes where I feel like the sales guy and Doug feels like the pricing guy. Like I'm like, hey, let's go after this one, and Doug's like, oh, wait, maybe we should be a little more yield conscious here. And I'm like, but again, it's a good, healthy mix. And then, also the benefits of MyCarrier, right? We, on a local account, you don't get a lot of shipment data files, but through the MyCarrier process, right? We get to see that shipment history, and you guys require dimensions, so we get to see the DIMs, and we all know the line haul cost is the largest component of cost. So getting that right on the front side, again, helps create that good customer experience. We don't have to go back and fix something because we know the shipments, we know the lanes, we know the density and the profile.
Yeah.
Really helps drive a lot of that, continuity and things that you want to have consistency in, right?
Yeah.
So I think, since we've kind of been a partner with MyCarrier here in the last couple of years, I know we've seen a lot of stickiness with our customers there, right? Our market share through the MyCarrier program is better, in a lot of situations. So, it's been a great partnership with you guys. I know Alex and the team, they're always willing to jump in and jump on calls with customers, meet with our sales team, right? Help educate them on things that can help drive more success. We have tons of lead lists that come from the opportunity reports that you guys provide. We just got a lot of good things going on with our normal sales focus as well as our partnership with you guys.
It seems like from the outside looking in, especially with the Mastio scores and everything else, you guys really have a focus on the local sales channel and that local market, right? That SMB market, which is very fruitful, may take a little more work. It's a little more fragmented, but I think you guys, in leveraging the partnership with us, have been able to address and target that market and do what you just said. I want to deliver a good customer experience. I want the accurate rate up front. I want a clean invoice, and you guys are able to leverage the partnership, and we're just getting started as far as I'm concerned. And I think you got to see a lot of the cool stuff that we're working on yesterday at the summit.
Yeah. When you talk about like electronic bill of ladings, right? I mean, nothing helps you get an invoice as accurate as you can get it on the front end than when a customer uses an electronic bill of lading, right? They have the information all there. I know we have 100% of our shipments through the MyCarrier platform that are on an EBOL, right? Our non-MyCarrier business is not even close to 100%. So, we've got work to do in some of them areas, but when we see that and show the ROI and the improvement and the accuracy in that area, it gives us hope, right? That, hey, we can do this in the other areas, right? So all the things that we're doing there through the MyCarrier platform has been beneficial, and continues to see a rise in that small to medium segment that we're obviously going after.
Yeah. And that's a tough one for me. I visit a lot of customers on the road, and some are very amendable. They get the e-bill lighting thing. They go, yeah, it totally makes sense. And then you'll talk to others and you'll say, well, don't you want improved tracking and a better rating experience? And don't you want me to be more successful on your shipments? Oh yeah. Well, then you gotta send that information to me digitally. Oh no, I can't do that.
Right.
It's like, well, what do we mean? We've got to have some give and take here. I need that information into my system somehow. So can you work with me?
Yeah, the industry has been, I'll say, lax, right, in requiring customer accountability. We all want to do everything we can to take care of our customers.
Yeah.
But, there is a certain spot where the customer has to own some of the data, right? And making sure they get a good experience sometimes relies on their effort that they put into it. You can't just puke out all this information and kick it to the carrier and say, hey, you guys figure it out. You got to get it right.
Yeah.
And then they get mad when you don't. It's like, well, you got to help us here. You got to own some of this accountability wise and make sure you get us the right information.
Yeah.
So I think that's, but that's where, again, your sales team can drive that culture with their customers. And if you expect that and show that on the front side, then it's not a surprise for the customer, right? They know they've got to do some of that work.
No, and there has to be a level of education for the customer. And I think that's sometimes the best selling you can do. You can call it hero selling or whatever, is where you make the shipper the protagonist in the story and you just guide them through to that better operation or that better improvement, right? And let them be the hero in that role. But you're the expert. You know how you're going to benefit as a carrier, how you can be the most successful. And I think with MyCarrier, it makes it really easy to have those conversations because it opens up Pandora's box of like, well, what do you do about tracking emails? What do you do about this? What do you do about invoice audit? And now all of a sudden you have more of a holistic solution to several problems.
Yeah, and I think yesterday you guys showed us the data where you did your own little survey of customers. They all want this digitization, right?
Yeah.
They just don't know how to get there.
No.
Right? And so they need help. You have to lead them to get there, and that happens through your sales organization, obviously, and then with the help of MyCarrier and your expertise in a lot of this, digitization area. Together, I think you can certainly, educate these customers and get them on the right track. And once they taste it, see it, feel it, experience it, and they see the ROI and the improvement, and there are less corrections and, bad carrier experiences, then they're bought in, right?
Oh yeah.
They just have to get there, and we have to kind of help them get there. And as an industry, all of the carriers are trying to do the same thing, right? How do we get to this digitization of technology for our customers and for the carrier side? Because it's going to save and help all of us, even the customers, right?
It's so tough with LTL, and like, I would love for me to just wave a magic wand. We don't even have paper. It's just off the label, right? Digital manifests like the FedEx small pack or UPS, but they were in a duopoly forever. They could kind of control or dictate the standards, right? And with LTL, because the customer has 80 different common LTL carrier to choose from between regional and common carrier, like there's just so many choices and nobody's drawing the line in the sand. And I don't know if it's going to ever happen. And that's where I think we've realized that you just got to give them tools of convenience that make their process easier, but give you what you want as a carrier. You know what I mean? Like, hey, come use this tool. It's going to save you time and help you out here, but it gives me what I want. And now I'm giving you a path or a route to market to success with this.
Yeah, most customers, from my FedEx days, you realize if they have parcel, they have LTL, and if they have LTL, they have parcel. So, they can't do the same things in LTL that they do in parcel. There's requirements. Like you've got to have all the digitization and
Isn't it wild
scanning.
with DIMS how the parcel shippers, you'll be like, oh, they put DIMS on everything to get rates with parcel, and then you're like, can I get DIMS with LTL? Oh no.
We don't have that.
Can't do that.
Right. Right. So again, it's part of just because I think on the carrier side, again, there's so many competitors, right?
Yeah.
Some carriers have just said, hey, we're not going to require that. And so customers get used to that.
Especially in a down market. They're like, you just put that freight in my truck, I'll figure it out.
That's right. And so, but I think you're seeing the carrier base tighten up a little bit on customers saying, hey, we've got carrier requirements here. You've got to help us to be successful. We always talk about having a good customer experience, but some customers can create their own bad experience, not intentionally.
No.
It's just that they're not going in the path of that digitization and electronic everything, right?
No, I'm with you. Seldom is there a human being that gets up in the morning and they're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to my life up today. Like, no, they don't think that way. They're just going through and unintentionally making these mistakes because they don't know, or they got hired and they go, this is how I was shown to do the job.
That's right. This is how I've always done things, right? So you've got to, as things and technology modernizes, right, it's important that carriers, customers, everybody kind of steps up and adheres to some of the new stuff that's coming out.
So with some of the TForce changes and rising on the Mastio score, is there anything upcoming for you guys? Are you looking at exploring new service options, maybe some mild network expansion, reinvestment in equipment? Like, where are you guys at for the future?
Yeah, one of the things I think that's really important for us is probably over the last decade, there's not been a lot of investment in the IT space, right, or systems. Got a lot of really old systems and old technology.
A lot of antiquated systems.
That really need updated. So I know that's one of our big focuses, trying to get some of these old programs off of the mainframe, and get into some different billing and master file systems, customer identification systems that we can get off of the old systems that have been there for 40
You know
plus
what I
years.
really think that does is help you guys attract new talent that's younger, because let's be honest, like even when I came into freight 20 years ago, I was like, what is this Block's green screen AS400? What is this thing?
Yeah, these old green screens.
Yeah.
I know when I know when I come to TForce, I was like, man, I feel like I'm starting back at American Freightways in 1997 all over again. And that's just what they've always had. And, they've found ways to, adjust those systems and enhance them to the point where you really can't do a whole lot more with what's there, right?
And it does a good enough job to keep winning the day. Right. And it's hard to just pull and plug. There is no, right? Like I've seen other carriers attempt and they've gone way beyond budget and way beyond timelines to get there. And it's no easy deal because freight don't sleep.
No, and I think that's really one of the big focuses, right? How do we continue to upgrade and improve the technology to help continue to drive that better customer experience? And it's a process, right? Nobody gets to be from A to Z overnight. We just continue to focus on getting better every day, every week, every month. And it's not like we're sitting here saying, oh, we're chasing and want to be just like this carrier or that carrier. We're just competing with ourselves. We got to get better.
I love that mentality.
We got to get better as a company every day, right? We watch the market, we see what everyone else does, but ultimately we just got to get better as a company and compete with ourselves. That's really our focus.
Nice. I like that. Didn't you guys offer or come out with a new guaranteed service? I thought you guys brought that back in as some of the major changes you're doing, a little bit of expedited in there.
Yeah, we did. So, in an effort to provide a little bit of a better service and compete with some of those, I'll say, faster transit coast to coast moves.
Those Friday to Mondays.
We opened up some lanes that we took off of the rail and put onto our own equipment or some sort of purchase transportation where we could go from, like Atlanta to the LA basin in 3 days.
Yeah.
Where our normal transit was 5 days. So we call that TForce Accelerated Guaranteed.
Yeah. Now, does that run on a team or?
It does. It's a sleeper team, right? So the service is a little better there.
Yep.
Right. And comes with a little bit
of
no
rehandling, which is always nice.
Comes with a little bit of an upcharge, right? But provides a little faster service to compete with some of the other competitors out there that make that same transit in, in 3 days.
Well, one of the things I love is you mentioned the reinvestment in technology is I've really seen a concerted effort, especially with the work Will's been doing on just let's make APIs a first-class citizen. We realize a lot of business flows through these, but also where can we differentiate from our peer groups by offering additional services through the API, invoice API, right? And other things that we're working on, like you said, to have a better end-to-end customer experience.
Yeah, Will McClung is our tech guy, and he'll be here next year at the meetings for sure. But yeah, he and his team have done a great job. When we separated from the UPS organization technologically, we had to stand up all the new APIs right on our own, convert customers off of the old program and get them onto the new. And I mean, Will and his team worked day and night and day for months to get that done, and it was a huge lift. But they've done a great job in doing that, and Will is constantly throwing out, here's new ways and ideas that we can drive better technology and better connectivity with our customers to help improve that experience as we keep going.
And now you got FedEx. It's like, hold my beer, I'll show you decoupling. And now they're running with it.
Yeah,
they're going to have a mess on their hands. That's a hard deal to decouple.
Yeah, I spent 25 years there. They've got a lot of great leaders in that organization. I think they'll come out looking like a shining star, like they always do. There's a lot of very smart people over there. I still have a lot of friends that work there, and that I stay in touch with regularly. But a lot of great leaders over there. Heather Rory and her team, very smart. They'll do a great job. I'm certain.
That's what I love about this LTL industry is we all compete against each other, but just like we were here this week,
right?
Everybody in that one room together, 15 different brands, and it's all like, how do we get better together?
Yep.
How do we solve this industry? And ultimately, for you shippers out there, how do we put a best in class experience out there that sets LTL apart from other modalities? Is like, I wish other modalities worked like LTL.
Yeah, most people are, it's competitive, but you don't see people still being super cordial, right? I mean, but like you said, we all were in a room yesterday, and you see a lot of the same faces and names and get to know people and build relationships. And it's a small industry. You never know where you may end up, right?
Yep.
So you got to be very careful and savor those relationships.
Like my dad always told me, the toes you step on today could be attached to the ass you got to kiss tomorrow, son. So be nice to everybody.
That's a good one. Yeah, I have to remember that one.
Yep, I'll never forget that one. And it you know what? It ended up being true in some cases, and ended up being true for me where people were stepping on my toes, and later on ended up being their superior. Working at different companies. So
yeah. No, I think. I think as a leader, right, you just need to create a culture and environment that people want to work in, and you treat people the way you want to be treated, whether that's your employees or your teammates or your competitors, right? You just treat everyone with respect, and we're all trying to do the right thing for the customer and to be successful. So
I love it. Well, tell me what's going on and send us home here. Is there any new stuff going on with TForce? What does the outlook look like maybe for the next year? Is there anything you guys are really focused on outside of continuing to rise on Mastio and doubling down on what you're already doing?
Yeah, I think our three main focuses that we talk about is talent, technology, and the customer experience, right? Those are the three things, right? How do we continue to improve the talent that we have, that we attract, as we grow and expand? How do we improve the technology? And how do we self-fund a lot of that stuff, right? Through different initiatives and ways to to pay for those improvements, because
Yeah.
those technology improvements are not always cheap.
Well, you know what? I love that you have those core tenets and pillars, but even more than that, I love that because you guys focus on those, you saw the outputs in the score.
Right.
So that's awesome. And kudos to you guys. Thanks for coming out. Thought it was an awesome event. And thanks for coming into the room here and sharing a little bit of knowledge with us.
Yeah, this is cool. I love the room, love the setup, and look forward to seeing more of these events.
You're going to have to give us some T-Force swag so we can put it on the wall.
Yep, I'll bring you a truck or a hat
we'll
or
get
something
something
soon.
in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yes, sir. Thank you.